Welcome to another episode of Resonance with Alexia, where we learn the language, understand the music, and find our sound. Today, we're starting with one of the most important foundations of music reading the music staff. Now, I know what you may be thinking. I can't learn how to read music. There's too many notes, lines, and symbols to remember. But learning to read music is not about memorizing everything at once. It's about learning the language one piece at a time. By the end of this lesson, the page should feel a little less complicated and a lot more approachable. So let's start. The music staff is set of 5 horizontal lines where music is written, so let's count them together. Line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4, and line 5. You must always begin counting from the bottom. Between those 5 lines are 4 spaces. Space 1, space 2, space 3, and space 4. These lines and spaces give musical notes a place to live. A note can sit directly on a line or sit centered within a space. The location of a note helps show how high or low the sound should be. Notes that appear lower on the staff generally sound lower. Notes that appear higher on the staff generally sound higher. When notes move upward on the staff, the music moves higher, and that's known as ascending. When notes move downward on the staff, the music is moving lower, and that is known as descending. Now, before we can begin naming the notes, we need one more important symbol, which is known as the clef. This is a treble clef. The treble clef is probably one of the most popular musical symbols that you see. Now, the purpose of a clef is to give meaning to the lines and spaces of the staff by showing us which note names belong in each position. There are different kinds of clefs, including the treble clef and the bass clef. Really quick, the bass clef is also known as the F clef because the dots go around the 4th line of the staff. This represents the note F. Circling back to the treble clef, it is also known as the G clef because the symbol curls around the 2nd line of the staff, which represents the note G. Using the information that a clef provides us can let us know exactly which note is attached to which position on the staff, whether it's on a line or a space. The clef that you need to use depends entirely on the range of your instrument or voice. The goal is to place the notes on the staff so they are easy to read without needing too many extra lines above or below the staff. Using the treble clef as an example, we can now name all of the lines and spaces. Starting from line 1, going ascending, we have E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, and F. To help us remember the note names on the lines and spaces, let's break this down a little bit further. For spaces, you will notice that each note name spells out the word face, F-A-C-E. When looking at just the lines, you'll notice that we have E, G, B, D, and F. In music, we like to use acronyms to help us remember note locations. One of the most popular acronyms used to identify lines on the treble clef is Every Good Boy Does Fine. Now, you don't have to memorize every note today. For now, the important thing is to understand that the staff gives notes their position and the clef helps us identify their names. So let's do a quick review. The musical staff has 5 lines and 4 spaces. We count both the lines and spaces from the bottom to the top. Notes can sit on lines or in spaces. Their position helps show whether the sound is higher or lower. The clef helps us understand which note names belong to the lines and spaces of the staff. The treble clef shows us where the G line is located, and the bass clef shows us where the F line is located. When you are reading the treble clef, spaces spell face and lines spell every good boy does fine. Understanding the musical staff is the first step towards becoming a confident music reader. You are not simply memorizing where one note goes. You are learning how written music communicates sound. In the next episode, we will dive further into reading treble-clef notes, the lines versus the spaces, and be able to bridge the gap between mnemonics versus true recognition. The goal by then is to be able to stop counting every line and space and understanding how notes move on the staff. This is Resonance with Alexia. If you found this episode to be helpful in your musical journey, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe to my channel for future episodes. Thank you so much and see you next time.